Okay, in the last video I showed you all how to solve a simple proportion using cross multiplication. In this video I will be showing you how to solve a more complex proportion. We're still going to use cross multiplication, so it's the same general idea. The only thing that's going to be a little bit different is we're going to add the use of the distributive property. Now, we have already talked about this, but just as a refresher, distributive property is whenever you have a number in front of a set of parentheses, where you're having a number that's adding to another number, or even a number subtracting another number. Okay, so what you do is this 3 is going to multiply to each number in your parentheses. So you're going to get 3 times 19, which is written right here, and you're going to get 3 times 4, which is written right here. Now you can't forget your addition sign in between them, because you have an addition sign in between your 19 and 4 here. So now we're going to multiply 3 times 19, which will give you 57, and then you're going to bring down your plus sign. Then you're going to multiply 3 times 4, which gives you 12. Now you just have to add 57 plus 12, which gives you 69. So this is an example of distributive property, and now we will use cross multiplication and distributive property to solve this complex proportion. Now, just as before, we are going to multiply the numerator of one ratio times the denominator of the other ratio. So I'm going to go ahead and circle the ones I'm multiplying. So that's 8 times -6, which will equal my 2 times, and I'm going to put all of this in my parenthesis. Can't separate each one of these, they're just going to go in my parenthesis together. And plus 4, close your parenthesis. So now we'll start with our 8 times -6, which gives us a -48. Bring down our equal sign. And now we will distribute our 2 because it is in front of our parenthesis. So 2 times n gives us 2n. Bring down your plus and do 2 times 4, which will give you 8. Now we have turned this into a two-step equation, which we have done a lot of practice with. So we want to get the n by itself, but we want to start with the number that is farthest away from our variable n, which would be our plus 8. So we want to cancel out our plus 8 by using the opposite of plus or positive, which is going to be minus 8. We have to do this to both sides. This 8 is going to cancel, and we are going to get a -56. Don't forget to check this in your calculator. So I'm going to do -48 minus 8, and I do get -56. I'm going to bring down my equal sign and my 2n. Now this is a one-step equation. because I have a number next to a letter, I know that they are multiplying. Okay? This is something that you're just going to have to keep in your head and remember. When you don't see a sign here in between your number and your letter, that means multiply. So you want to do the opposite, which is divide by 2 to each side. This 2 will cancel. And when you divide negative 56 by 2, you get negative 28. Bring down your equal sign and bring down your n. So we got n equals negative 28, and our n is by itself, so this is our answer. Let's practice another one. Okay, so here I have 10 over 4 equals z minus 8 over 16. Now I'm going to circle the numbers that I'm going to be multiplying together so I don't forget. And now I have 4 parentheses z minus 8 parentheses. If it helps you remember, you can go ahead and put parentheses here so you know that they stay together, but that is up to you. And going to circle my next set, which is 10 times 16. And I'm going to put it in front, but you could put it over here too if you wanted to. I just like having my variables on the right. So I get 10 times 16. Now I'm going to multiply 10 times 16, and I get 160. Bring down my equal sign, and now I have to distribute. Do 4 times z, which is 4z. I'm going to bring down my minus sign, and 4 times 8, which gives you 32. Now I have a two-step equation. I want to get the z by itself, but I want to work with the number that's farthest away from my z, which is going to be this 32. So now I have to determine what to do to cancel out this 32. It has a negative or a minus in front of it. So I want to do the opposite of this sign, which is going to be adding. Because once I add 32 to this negative 32, it's going to give me a 0, which makes it disappear, which is what we want. So this is going to cancel out, and I have to add my 32 on this side of my equal sign. So when I add 32 to 160, I get 192. Then I bring down my equal sign and bring down my 4z. Now I have a one-step equation. I'm still trying to get the z by itself, and I have a number next to a letter, so that means that they are multiplying. So I want to do the opposite and divide by 4. So I can cancel that 4 out, I do it to this side as well. And when I do 192 divided by 4, I get 48. So 48 equals Z, and that is my answer. The biggest problem I foresee with working out these problems is the distributive property. This is something that we did on one of the very first days of school and have struggled with ever since. So this is something that you will need to practice over and over again because it will not go away. We will continue to do this all year long, and next year you will get to do it as well. Okay, so here's our last example for today. We have 3 over t plus 7. And I'm going to go ahead and put parentheses around this. Equals 5 over negative 8. Going to circle the numbers that I'm going to be multiplying. So I have 5 parenthesis t plus 7 close parenthesis, which equals, then I have 3 times negative 8. When I multiply 3 and negative 8, I get negative 24. Bring down my equal sign, and now I'm going to distribute. Going to distribute my 5 because that's the number directly in front of my parenthesis. So 5 times t is 5t. Bring down my plus, and then I do 5 times 7, which is 35. Now I want to get my t by itself. I have a two-step equation. So I want to start by working with the number furthest away from my t, which is going to be my positive 35. So how do I get rid of a positive 35? I subtract 35. Now I'm subtracting 35 from this side of the equal sign and from this side of the equal sign. I don't do it to each number, only do it under the number that I'm wanting to cancel out and the number on the opposite side of the equal sign. So that cancels. And when I do, always check your negatives in a calculator. I'm going to do negative 24 minus 35. I get negative 59. I want to bring down my equal sign and bring down my 5t. Now, once again, I have a number next to a letter. So that means that they are multiplying. So I want to do the opposite and divide. I want to do it to this side of the equal sign and this side of the equal sign. This cancels. And then when I put in my calculator negative 59 divided by 5, get a decimal, but we do not want a decimal. So I hit math, enter, enter, and I get negative 59 over 5. So I rewrite my answer as negative 59 over 5 equals t. And that is my answer. Now those are all the problems that we are going to be practicing for this video. I suggest that you practice your distributive property and understand that your number in front multiplies to each number in the parenthesis. I hope this has helped you with your homework or just your general understanding of complex properties.